when you behave a certain way in business, whether it's how you run your company or how you are an investor, how you deal with brokers, how you deal with counterparties, banks, etc., when there is opportunity and the people that have their fingertips on those opportunity, they want to bring it to people that are likely to be easy to work with and enjoy working with them. And I heard this comment somewhere in the last week or so about, I think actually it came from Charlie Munger. I can't remember now. But, there are people that look at deals, let's call it in real estate or even in purchasing, that always are trying to find a penny, like trying to grind people always like, oh, I'm going to get a better discount. I'm going to get better this. Well, when there's a really great opportunity, do you think that the broker you're going to be the first phone call for that broker? They're going to want to call somebody who pays a fair price, that lets people make money, that's easy to work with. And maybe, and I don't know anything about this guy, Carl Icahn, we're talking about this, but just from a principal perspective, I think about that from how you conduct yourself in transactions and how you behave. Maddie says all the time, and I've learned this from Maddie, it's like, how do you find the win-win? Because if that's not helping you get a good deal today, I can guarantee you in 10, 12, 15, 20 years, when there is distress, a huge opportunity, and maybe sometimes the broker will give you the vision and implant that vision that, listen, Mikey, I love you. You're easy to work with. You took care of me 15 years ago. There's an unbelievable opportunity. You may not know how to get there, but let me draw you the path. And because you treated me so well, here's the deal in your lap. Go. The reason why Carl Icahn maybe got that call in 2011 is not because he did a good job in 2011. It could have been because he did a really great job in 1995.
That's a great point.
And it drives home Maddie always talks about, does the audio match the video? And it drives home such a great point, Ash, because, if you look at, even the McDonald's story, when McDonald's was struggling in the early days and they owed Coke a bunch of money and Coke stuck by them. And now Coke is like, they'll never part from Coke. It's those periods of time, like how we deal with adversity and the challenges. Not everything's rosy. And the last thing that I want to say too, it's capitalism at its core. Again, back to the person that made the comment, like, nobody should own $114 million worth of property, but this is a great example of the good that is done and also how you frame that. Because when you walk into a boardroom of a venture capital company or a big private equity group and you're Carl Icahn and it's just a pitch deck, it doesn't matter. But when you have a relationship and they know your track record and they know you're going to see it through and the vision that you're selling, that matters so much more. And I was just thinking, look at the good that has came of this, not just for the Fountain Blue, but Ash, on our call. Like, capitalism at its core is something that we have to fight and battle for. And there's so many people that think it's like the evil capitalist, goes back to Atlas Shrugged. But look at the downward effect of everything that happens there for the economy in Vegas and how many jobs it creates. And look at what it did for Ash's company. I have no idea what that figure was to put furniture in the Fountain Blue, but look at how many jobs that created, not just for the US, but for China and Mexico and Ash's employees. And the downward effect of capitalism is huge in a positive perspective. So there has to be a mindset shift. But again, I love that point that you drove home, because you can't just walk into a room with a pitch deck and expect it's the 99 that didn't get funding. But whatever he saw and believed in there, it was such a bigger vision that people probably couldn't help but to say, oh my God, this guy believes in it and he's got a track record and we believe in him. It's not really, how many times do you hear, I heard it this morning on a call with an investor, I'm not betting on the horse, I'm betting on the jockey. It's an old cliche term, but it just reinforces what Ash is saying.
But that's the truth. That actually is what happens.
It is the truth. I was literally on a call with a sovereign wealth fund, multi-billion-dollar Korean sovereign wealth fund last week. And the main committee guy that leads it, to your point, Mike, said two things. He goes, all we underwrite and care about is two things, and really it's just one. We look at sponsor first, we look at deal second. And really, we won't even look at the deal unless we believe in the sponsor, their vision, and their track record. If they don't pass that test, we're not even going to look at the deal. It could be the best freaking deal on planet Earth. But if we don't like the sponsor, we're not going in.
I got to buy the Roddy company because of that. right? So I was a customer. I reached out to them, tried to build my app with them, worked with the owners at the time for a while, invested some money, didn't go anywhere. Right. And I remembered being really bummed, but I obviously did it. I obviously carried myself in a good, respectful way, because once the owner passed away, I was the only person they reached out to buy the company. And when people found out that I got the chance to buy the company and I didn't have to bid against anybody else, and it was quiet, and there were so many people that were super, super upset because they wanted to buy the company. They were interested in it. They had expressed interest in it. And it was all because of a relationship. At the end of the day, they said, "Hey, Aaron's the one that we want to sell this to." And they didn't get it. They didn't even get another bid. Right. And it's been one of the biggest, best investments ever. That was because 2-3 years prior, I invested a lot of time, brought my kid. I remember bringing Maddie into my meeting when I went and saw like my little, she was young at the time. Right. So she's in the other room right now, but she's probably like 7 or 8 years old when I first bring her in to go meet him for the first time. I'm traveling with family, but wanted to say hi and meet you guys in person while we're negotiating over the phone. And anyway, that stuff worked. I thought we were going to get some more topics, right? But you guys all talk way too much.
That was life-changing for you. I think that's a good reminder for anybody that's trying to create more abundance and wealth in their world, is to truly think about, I consider myself a farmer. Every day I'm planting seeds, I'm watering and nurturing those crops. And at some point in time, I know that those crops will yield fruit that will, be beneficial to me. But it's a habit, it's a discipline, it's a way of being, right? Like, you were building rapport and trust and relationship with that, and not knowing if it was going to go anywhere, by the way. I'm sure when you started building those relationships, maybe that something could come out of it. Maybe you get, some type of opportunity.
Way better than I could have imagined.
I was like, did you ever think day one when you started adding that type of value, planting those seeds, nurturing that relationship and showing up, that you'd end up getting, exclusive access to buy a company that is going to change your family tree forever? Probably not. And so I think it's just really, such a cool point to remind people of how your actions every day are ultimately what are the seeds you're planting that are going to yield the fruit and the opportunity in the future. And you never know when that crop is going to yield fruit. But if you do it the right way and you're a student of the process and you're consistent with that process, there's no way around it. It might yield a Roddy's type of company opportunity, or maybe it lands you a $20,000 flip and that funds, a nice little vacation and a part of your business. But you can't overlook that kind of stuff. So I love that I think all of us do that really well, maybe without being super intentional and purposeful about it, because it's who we are and it's a part of our kind of, characteristics. But I think that's a quality and a skill that anybody can develop and should develop.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this snippet and want to catch the full episode, head over to our YouTube channel, The King's Table Podcast. The link is right down in the description below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, and ring that bell for notifications, and you are not going to want to miss this amazing content that we have for you every Friday. And remember, we love hearing from you, so drop your thoughts, questions, or feedback that you might have in the comments. We read everything, and we want you guys to respond so we can engage with you. It means the world to us. A big thank you for being part of the King's Table community, and if you found value in today's episode, remember that the cost of listening is that you must share it with somebody that may benefit, whether it's your friend, your family, your coworkers. So please keep sharing, keep engaging, and until next time, stay royal.